let's get into the Mount Rushmore of slashers. Now, to start off with this, we want to say that we are not doing universal monsters. We're not doing monsters, and we are not doing spiritual monsters. So we're not going to do like the gal from The Ring or the Rangoon or whatever. We're not doing those.
So this is also kind of difficult because some on my list could be argued back and forth, and I guarantee there's at least one or two on your list that could be argued back and forth. It's just the way it is. I mean, of the top three, like the top three, which I know both you and I have on our list, they could be argued either way. Like that, it just is.
Right. We'll address that when we get to them too, and we'll give our reasons why we think.
Yeah.
But I'll have you.
So we have 3 tiers.
We do. We're gonna do the A list, the B list, and the C list of slashers. And I'm sure probably by the C list, some people won't even know them.
I think we're gonna start with C list though, and work our way up.
No, let's do A because A and B are easy. All right, right? I mean, they're like most of the time the top A and B, or the top A should be. I think C is the one where it's going to be the most divisive and like what?
All right.
Like, right? Do you think? Because it's too easy.
All right, yeah, let's do it.
Caleb's going to burn it down.
So do you have an honorable mention for each one?
I don't, because like if I had an honorable mention, they just shifted down. Like the only ones, like I didn't include Leprechaun in here because to me he is a bit more of a monster than a slasher villain, because he's a full-on leprechaun, right? He's got powers. He's kind of and ripping things out. Like to me, he's just a little bit like. Obviously, he's in the slasher family, but I think he just kind of gets nudged out a little bit. So that would be an honorable mention.
Enough.
Go ahead.
I will have an honorable mention for the B tier. I might foresee when we finish up, you're going to be really mad. So I'll mention my A at the end. Just because I think after we go through all these and you see who's not on this list, you're going to be well upset, to be frank. Okay,
and this is where I should say that, this is where most people will say on their shows that, look, it's just my list. Don't get upset. Make your own list and be happy. I just want to say that we're going to have Caleb's list. Right, we're going to have the right, the wrong, and then we're going to have Caleb's list, which is going to be smoking like out of your mind. So I just want to say that, look, my list is right, and you're gonna have to deal with it. It just is what it is. Like, so you go first. Do you want to do the whole tier? Probably do the whole tier, right? And then I'll do the whole tier.
Do our whole tier, and then when we get to B and C, maybe we should go back and forth, just because ours won't line up.
I like that.
With tier A, I guarantee you 3, if not 4 out of 4. Will be matching.
Right.
This is in no particular order. Of course, with tier A, and John's always being the gentleman and letting me go first. I will start with Leatherface. Oddly enough, I know most people would not put him there. I know most people would put him in B or C. But honestly, without Texas Chainsaw Massacre, we would not have the modern slasher that we know and love today. It gave the structure, it gave the bones, and there's more than enough enjoyment out of the whole franchise, no matter how wonky, nuts, and crazy it is. And I'm sure tomorrow will be a huge disappointment to us all, but that's fine. That's okay. We're good. It happens. We're fine.
I think it'll only be a disappointment if it gets close to greatness. I think that's why with like some of these movies, when they get so close to greatness and then they drop a turd in the middle of the movie, you're like, well, then it's dead. I think we've prepared ourselves. Man. I think we've prepared ourselves enough that unless they do like a soggy turd in the middle of it, I think we're going to be okay.
I don't think anybody can be as disappointed as you and I were walking out of Slender Man and Spiral. And there was nothing close to greatness in either one of those movies. Not even a little.
And they had no chance from both of them. Anyway, yeah, keep going.
Freddy Krueger, of course. I mean, Springwood slasher. Yeah, he's up there. Like, there's no way he's not. He is the original talking multi-film deal slasher. Like, Freddy Krueger. Freddy Krueger.
He's not the original, but he's close.
He's the first that made it that big, to the point that he took over pop culture.
I mean, yeah, he's the biggest talking, but anyway, I would say Anthony Perkins is the first big psycho. Like, I mean, he had 4 films and a TV show.
But it's not to the extent that Freddy Krueger.
You're right, but I mean, Psycho's huge in its own time, 24 years earlier. But anyway, I'm with you. I'm sorry. I feel like Psycho doesn't get enough love.
Now, see, to that note, I was really considering tossing Psycho, but so next, we're going to go Jason Voorhees. He, the largest body count until recently. I mean, the most infamous of the horror movie killers. Everybody knows the hockey mask, even though he's not the first killer. He's not the killer in the 5th movie. Jason, that gets a spot. And that leaves us with only one, the king, right up there, Michael Myers. There's just no way. No matter how many of the movies are bad, subpar, trash, shouldn't exist, whatever, I'm going to continue to go to those movies for forever, because there is something about watching Michael Myers with a cool kill that just ranks top. Like, it just does for me. So yeah, that's my Mount Rushmore. Michael, Jason, Freddy, and Leatherface.
I feel like at least 60-ish% of the time most people are going to say that. So I mean, it's just the go-tos. Yeah. It's the Godfathers. It's the Mount Rushmore of horror slashers. I am going to go, yep, we got Freddy Krueger. I like half the franchise. I wish they would have kind of balanced the comedy and the horror a little bit better. Wish they would have done a little bit better transitioning between movies. At least it kind of has some continuation feels to it. You know, it has kind of a timeline, kind of. And I do like him. He's an icon. Like, I mean, Freddy vs. Jason, that's probably my favorite Freddy. I love Freddy. When he's great, I love Freddy. When he's scary, I love him. When he's dabbling into funny, I love him. Yeah, he's got to be on there. He just has to be. Whether you love him or not, he's just got to be on there. You know. Yeah. Next is that guy right there, Jason. And you did say had the highest body count. You did make up a point that in Jason X, he is. He is a result of that ship crashing into that little livable area. So his body count would be higher if you count that. It's a little crazy out there. I don't know. It could go either way. But yeah, Jason's got to be on there. I mean, these two ruled the 80s, while these two were really nowhere to be found. I mean, he got like what, 3 movies in the 80s, hit and miss. This guy got 1. Like, I mean, yeah, it is what it is. Love Jason, though. I mean, I can have fun with almost every movie, especially if I turn my brain off on a couple of them. And, you know, at least they're never boring. They're never boring. I might lie there. There's a couple of down spots, but for the most part, they're never boring. There's always something to chew on. There's something to always be like, wow, that's weird. But so anyway. And then, yeah, I'm going with Michael Myers. That's it right there, guys. That's both of ours right there. That's why I had to buy this poster. I mean, I wish they would have put Chucky, even though this is Mount Rushmore. I wish they would have put him right here. But that is my Mount Rushmore. It's Michael Myers. I mean, once again, I like half the franchise. The other half, I have to turn my brain off. I can still have a good time. It's never. Once again, there's a couple boring spots in it, but for the most part, I love it. Yeah, it's interesting because. Oh, go ahead. Would you count Freddy?
Would you count Freddy?
See, he started off as a human killer, and then he became a dream demon. So I count him just for the simple fact that he ruled the 80s, and he's the biggest slasher icon of all time. He is, whether you love the movies or not. Like whether you're hyping on Michael Myers right now, he has So that's why I kind of slid him in there. I should have mentioned that. You're right, Deb. Good call.
Uh, this is something we talked about a little bit in preparation for this, is that Supernatural is still acceptable because technically Michael, Jason, Freddy, all of them are. They wouldn't be able to make the list. Leatherface isn't in any stretch of the imagination. He's just more like a defensive lineman who is even stronger than that. But there's almost a supernatural element to 90% of the slasher movie genre. Like,
Right.
it's
All
just,
these guys
it
but
happens.
Leatherface.
Yeah, like, if a series runs long enough, they are going to make their killer supernatural. Even if they don't intend on it in the beginning. It just happens.
Right, and then so she brings up
For better or
Samara
worse.
and the Ring. It has been a long time, and I just bought like all three of them. It's been a long time since I've seen the Ring, but Samara, and I could be wrong, but I believe she wasn't a killer before she died. And now we could start kind of playing with things like that too, with like Annabelle, but Annabelle, she wasn't a killer either, right? No, I can't remember. I just watched Annabelle Creation too. The movie was decent, but it shows how much I can remember of it because it just didn't. It was decent, but it just didn't catch my attention that much. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I can't remember about Samara, but she wouldn't make my A, B, or C list, to be honest with you. So
Yeah,
and I
it's
could
a
be
very
wrong.
difficult. Yeah, it's a very difficult tightrope walk with some of these. Like, I don't know. Like, when we get to my C list, I'm gonna discuss in depth why I have a character there versus why they're not.
Right. And once again,
Which really sucks because I hate that.
like my
But
knee-jerk reaction is
it works.
you're gonna want Pennywise on this list. He's a monster. I mean, he's a universal monster, like galaxy monster. In the movies, he's a monster, so I don't count him. And then I didn't count the Creeper because the Creeper, it's a monster movie. I mean, it's a slasher movie, but it's a monster movie. I mean, this is a
Yeah.
kid who
I
freaked out his
actually
mom. Yeah, right. Okay, good. That's what I thought. I was like,
I actually have to notate really quick. When I was making this list before John decided to make rules for it, I had already decided that Pennywise wasn't going to be on this list at all because it bothers me personally how much people liken Pennywise to Jason or Freddy or Michael when it's a very different concept. Pennywise is an alien being who feeds off of fears. It just so happens that clown fit that book. It's not that Pennywise is a clown. It's that Pennywise is the manifestation of their fear.
he's basically
So to me, it's a completely different thing.
he's like basically the opposite of the Holy Spirit. Like, I mean, he's a
Yeah.
ghost and that can turn into a physical form. Okay, then so Hannibal Lecter, he's not a typical slasher, but he's a killer. Hannibal did it over many movies. Yes, Hannibal is appropriate for this list. Yes, Hannibal would be on here.
Yeah.
He kind of a weak. I mean, he has a low body count, and like if you're not counting the show, which the show is awesome. It kind of lost me in the third season, but the first and second season were fire. I can't remember that guy's name. He's from Bond, and he's from Casino Royale. But he kind of mumbles and kind of like has a bit of a, I don't know, kind of have a speech something or other. It's not a lisp or anything like that, but I kind of like it for Lecter because he's so respected and he's so smart in the show that he's kind of one of those guys that you would listen to every word and you would be quiet and you would focus on what he's saying. So I kind of like it on the other side of it. Anyway, tangent, but yeah, Hannibal Lecter would be on this list. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, man. Burn it down on the bees. Burn it down.
All right. So we're gonna go 1 and 1 and 1 and 1.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Okay. I do have somewhat of an order for this because I want to save my top for last. Just because it's this close to them being on the A list, but Do you want to do the honors this time?
Sure. I'll go first. Now, this would be my honorable mention for the A list, and that'd be Chucky. Look, it's kind of weird to think like you had only two Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies, and then you had a Child's Play movie. That's what's crazy. 86, 88 is when Child's Play came out, right? You had four Nightmare on Elm Streets from 84 to 88. I mean, you had four before you got to Chucky. But Chucky, like, once again, like you said, he's a talker. He had multiple movies. He's only had, like, one true turd, in my opinion. And he's just fun. Like, he is always fun to watch. Even in the crappy movies with him in it, there's always that one where I'm like, oh, wait, there's that one. But I love Chucky. I love Child's Play franchise. It's up there. It's probably my second or third favorite. He would be my honorable mention, but he would also be in my B team. That's my B team guy.
All right. That's a solid pick. And also part of the reason why you're going to be pissed. My first pick for B League is going to be Victor Crowley.
Hey, I like Victor.
Right. Man, violent, brutal. You take a guy who has embodied Jason Voorhees for multiple films, and you're like, instead of getting the normal R-rated that you have to worry about, this is going to be an indie film. We're going to give you all the gore and all the CG, so help with the creative kills. Let your mind go crazy, and whew, do they. It's also nice that the same director is the person who's working through all of them, so you're not going to completely drop off like you do with Friday the 13th or Nightmare or Halloween. Like, it's an easy storyline to follow. Ridiculously easy. It's based in comedy, gore, and a mild story, like this much of a story. Super fun series. I highly recommend the Hatchet series. If you go in for a gore fest, a fun show, you're going to have fun. If you go in for something serious, you're going to be sorely disappointed.
It's the biggest love letter to 80s horror that I've ever seen. It is everything that 80s is. It's cocaine horror. I mean, it is. It's turn up the volume. It's head banging. It's got, like you said, it's got gore. The violence is crazy. I mean, you got nudity like nobody's business. You got dark. You got atmosphere. You have a killer who's very iconic. And yeah, I mean, it has just enough story to where you can follow it and be entertained. Yeah, the Hatchet series is phenomenal. I have the first one and the last one. I need to get the second and third one. I love the Hatchet series. Yeah. Heck yeah, man. There's nothing wrong. I'm not gonna be mad. Like, it's a Hatchet, man. I get it. I wish you got more love. I get you.
Yeah. Anyways, so far, what's your second pick for B League?
My second pick, and this is weak sauce, but the franchise carries him up to be on this pedestal, and that is Ghostface. Really, I mean, you have really three characters that own the Ghostface role, right? You've got Roman, I would say, and then you've got Billy and Stu. Spoilers for anybody that hasn't seen 1 through 3. But so really you have three claim to fame Ghostfaces. But the franchise is big enough. That first movie is a standalone monster. I mean, the first movie is God tier, like the first Halloween, like the first Nightmare on Elm Street, and the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and maybe the fourth Friday the 13th. But yeah, it's Ghostface has got to be on. He's got to be on there. Like I understand if you wouldn't want him on there because it's pretty like killer wise weak sauce, but he's got to be on there for me.
Yeah, that's fair. My next one's probably going to send you through the roof, and that is going to be Candyman. Candyman, it's really weird how fantastic the introduction to the character was, how poorly it was handled for 2 movies, and then how great it was handed back for a reimagining and a continuation of the story. For a movie, for a series that went peak and just crash and burn,
Yeah.
there is no excuse for how great the redemption arc is. Like that doesn't happen. That doesn't. It's insane.
Yeah.
Candyman definitely the characterization of Candyman, the story, the brutality, the romance angle. It's got meat and it works for me. And I know why people would never put Candyman on their list, because it's not gory, it's not by the numbers, it's not, well, it's gory, but it's not like cut them up, slash them up, done. It's much more story related. No, 2 and 3 aren't really, as someone who owns the third one.
I just bought the third one on DVD, so yeah, we'll see. It's going to be bad.
Did you get this one?
No, it came in a lot. It came with Puppet Master 1 and 3 on Blu-ray, Reanimator, and Candyman 3. It was like $15. I was like, I don't own any of the Puppet Masters, so I've never seen any of the Puppet Masters.
I've seen like 4 of them, and really, the first one's cool, the second one's weird, a bunch of weird ones. Then there's one that is really good that came out in like 2016, 2017 that is really worth a watch. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah. Okay. This is mostly objective. Like the list that I want to put on here is not the list that it deserves. But I'm like, if I'm the guy who's getting paid to actually chisel this crap in there, and I have to represent horror, I've got to go with Hannibal Lecter. I've got to. I mean, it was one of the best, like one of the first horror movies I ever saw. He's one of the smartest villains. He's not supernatural. Like there's Deb. I mean, I saw Hannibal in the theater and loved it. Saw the Red Dragon and loved it. I mean, he's got what, 6 movies? No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's got 5 movies. I own them all. Hannibal Rising is not good, but whatever. The TV show is phenomenal. I love Hannibal. He's got to go on there. And he's a wild card. I mean, he's just not in your face horror even like Candyman. I would say Candyman's more like that would be more of a knee jerk to that. But I've got to go Hannibal Lecter. I mean, Anthony Hopkins, phenomenal. I cannot remember the guy who played him in Manhunter, but he did a good job too. I love Hannibal.
I'm blanking on his name. But he did do a good job.
Yeah, he was in X2 United. He was Stryker in X2 United. But anyway, he's in a bunch of stuff. He does the new McDonald's commercials. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Like, he's that guy. Anyway.
Gosh, what a time to be alive. So my next pick may feel like a generic pick, but it is actually a pick that I'm proud to put here. I mean, most people would probably either put it way higher or way lower, but I'm going to go Pinhead. I mean, just this one's weird. This falls into the could it be a monster? Could it be human? Could it be? He falls into all the categories. That's what sucks. John, have you seen all the movies?
No, I've seen 1 and 2.
No? Okay.
I can't do it. I get everything I need out of 1 and 2. I want to see 3. I don't own any of them.
The more that you get his human story throughout the series, the more that, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to spoil it. It's rough. It was difficult to put Pinhead here when we had discussed the changes. No, he's not a demon. He's what's considered a Cenobite, which is like a priest in hell.
He's the hell priest. That was his original name.
Yeah, or before Doug Bradley got it, it was a genderless creature, but that did have a human origin story, which is the origin story of all the victims in the movies. Technically, all the victims would become new Cenobites through their pleasure and pain. Like that's kind of, that's the big giveaway with how Pinhead and Chatter and all those were created, is they opened the box at one point. That spoiler alert from 1980 something. If you can't pick that up by the second movie, just stop watching. So yeah, Pinhead. Again, it's one of those 88. I can see why somebody would argue against me saying this doesn't count as a slasher, but I also see where people come from when they would. I find this to be way more a slasher than Pennywise. Again, because Pennywise is a figment of fear, whereas Pinhead actually is an entity. You don't see Pinhead one way here and another way there.
Well, and if you think about it, it's a little different because he actually takes physical form. He was alive at one time. It's just kind of the flow of it. It's hard to explain because it's like ghosts. When they're ghosts, most of the time in a ghost movie like Conjuring, they're just ghosts, right? They have no physical form. Like I mean, they can still take care. They can jump into you sometimes, but for the most part, it's that fine line. It's that fine line that we're riding. But I agree. I think so too. And Jeepers Creepers, Deb says Jeepers Creepers was a demon though. Really, I watched the third one and it goes more into it, but it doesn't explain it enough. I would assume he's a demon because he can live through everything. But I mean, for the most part, it's just to me it's a monster movie. To me it's just a monster movie.
I don't know. I'm waiting to see if Jeepers Creepers Reborn goes and tries to explain it further, and then I don't know. The first movie's cool. The second one's really interesting, but not great, and the third one is trash.
Yeah, I like the second one for what it is, but yeah, third one's garbage. But no, the old franchise is dead. This new one will be its own thing, from what I understand. So
yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So that was your third Pinheads on yours. So, yep. And this, like I said, man, it just kills me because I like others better that should be going up on the list, but I can't do it. I have to respect the history. I have to respect everything. But I just don't want to do it. I just don't want to do it, but it's got to be Pinhead. It's got to be Pinhead. He has, what, freaking 10 movies, 9 movies or something like that? Like, the hooks and the nastiness and like the gore effects and the coming out of the bed in the second one and when I was in high school, I'd already seen plenty of horror movies, but when that skeleton comes up and the muscles and the tendons and the bones and like it's all like mixing and nasty and drippy and gross and it's like that skull is like mouth open and stuff, I was like, holy jumping Jiminy, like they really went there with this movie. He has to be on there. I mean, for the look alone, he has to be on there. He has to be on there. Think about looking up at a mountain. You'd see Hannibal. He would have the face mask on mine. You'd see Pinhead. He has to be on there, right? I mean, Chucky. I mean, Ghostface. It makes for a good mountain for me, and that's why it's got to be on there. He was a human. He became a Cenobite. He went from the earth to hell to come back to punish people or pleasure them, depending on the box. So you're doing a Mountain Rushmore of killers. I thought you were talking about the movies. No, I'm sorry, Jawari. We should have made that a little clearer. We're doing just the slashers. We will do that. This is just the slasher icon Mount Rushmore for this go.
And we have 3 tiers. We already did A, which was Michael, Jason, Freddy, Leatherface. This
for both of us.
We're on our B list. So far, I've named Victor Crowley, Candyman, and Pinhead, and John has named Pinhead, Hannibal Lecter, and Chucky.
And Ghostface. I did my 4. And my 4. And Ghostface.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and Ghostface. He did his 4. Yeah.
And like I said,
wow.
that's objectively. I subjectively, 2 out of those probably wouldn't make it on my second tier. But objectively, I think those best represent, like that's the A team, that would be the B team. Caleb, what's your 4th on the B team?
Jigsaw. Can't tell me he doesn't kill people.
He can't, but I thought
That's the
about this,
argument.
but I thought about this, but I was thinking about like Mount Rushmore, right? I was thinking like, would you put Billy up there? Would you put the pig mask up there? Would you put the pig holding the Billy doll? Like, I was I kind of put it on there, and then I was like, let's put this little guy over here. So I hear you.
Jigs,
I kind of moved him out of there.
Jigsaw and it'd be the pig mask, because that's what most people saw before, you know.
Well, that is
So
him,
yes.
not Billy. Billy is like a representative character. He's like a mascot.
Yeah,
The pig face is him. Yeah.
yeah, that's what most people saw before their game was him in the pig mask. Yes, I have to put Jigsaw.
Yeah.
John Kramer, it makes no sense how quickly the Saw franchise took the world by storm, and John Kramer's logic is smart, but it's flawed. I can't tell you how many people I have argued with about the fact that yes, he has killed someone. Like, just because he didn't pull the trigger does not mean that he did not kill someone. I mean, he didn't Batman Begins out of a train by any means, but
I don't have to say
he knew. Like, yeah, he knew. So yeah, that is
he's a bad guy.
my top pick for my B tier. And I know John's face.
Can't go there. I can't do it. I hear you. I see you. It's a good franchise. I love the franchise. Freaking love it. I love it. And it's a franchise where I'm scared to start because every time I start, I know I have to finish because I love watching
you have to keep going
back. I love it. I love the franchise. Yeah. I love it. I can't go there with you. The pig mask, Deb was saying that you put Billy up there with John Kramer peeking behind. I think if you're thinking of a mountain, and I mean, obviously, like Rushmore actually has dudes' faces on it, but I think that the pig mask would have to be there, and he would have to have him holding Billy. I think that would be the best, like, visual, like, this is him. And I think that would represent the franchise a little bit better because, yes, John Kramer is the main killer, but there's, like, 5 killers throughout. There's more than 5 killers throughout the franchise. So, spoiler, he is an iconic serial killer. For me, I'm thinking like one guy doing all the stuff. Like, I mean, I can see it on there. I gotta go against you. I think that Ghostface deserves it more. I think Chucky deserves B tier more. I think Hannibal deserves B tier more. I'm sorry, I love you. Somebody's got to be wrong, Caleb. Somebody's got to be wrong.
Real quick, this is where I knew you'd get pissed. Neither Ghostface nor Chucky made my list. Chucky, however, made the honorable mention for tier A.
Oh my God.
And only because he's so successful, the comedy sticks, the body count's amazing, but the story, I mean, it's an honorable mention. There's no way you can't think of Chucky when you think of successful horror. But he just doesn't.
If you do an honorable mention, you have to drop him down to the next level. That's how it works. He didn't make this one. No. He's got to drop down to the next one. Caleb?
Nope.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. Okay? I'm just disappointed.
Well, I would rather have Victor Crowley, Candyman, Pinhead, or Jigsaw over Chucky.
What? Or Ghostface. You're doing it. I did mine objectively. I'm thinking of a mountain to represent the B team of horror. But I mean, I hear you. That's why I said a couple of mine killed me because I don't like their franchises as much. But I felt like they deserved the mountain on B team.
So I think Jigsaw deserves a seat more than Ghostface. Ghostface was one really great movie and a bunch of like an okay sequel and then mediocre to garbage sequels. That's just how it is. Now, Hannibal Lecter, that is a super solid one that does deserve a seat that I didn't get. And honestly, it didn't even cross my mind for some reason until I got here today, and it actually made me upset because I was like, shit, I totally would have put him somewhere. So that's kind of disappointing for me.
All right, man. This is the C team. Yeah. I don't want to.
Real quick, yes, Jigsaw picked people for arguable reasons. If you're representing horror on the mountain, Jigsaw deserves it. Yeah!
I didn't say he didn't. I just said he didn't deserve to be on the B team.
Oh, my C team's gonna piss you off then.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I went first last time. Yeah, you go first, man.
Okay. So this one is very, very difficult.
This is tough.
I'm going to start with my honorable mention, and here's why. As much as I want him on this list, it's very difficult to argue slasher. He's far more supernatural. He's far more in the realm of monsters, and that's the Djinn from Wishmaster. I wanted him on this list so very badly, so bad it hurt. But I think he misses the marks on just a few too many places. So he's my honorable mention. I do think maybe in another tier or something like that, he would be much higher for me, and he would get a face on Mount Rushmore. Most definitely. So that being said, my fourth spot, and this one's going to take some people by surprise because they probably don't know who she is going to be Mary Mason from American Mary. This is a rough movie about a medical student who was taken advantage of. She leaves medical school and starts doing extreme body modifications for people and takes revenge on the person who took advantage of her. And man, it is a wild movie. The Soska sisters did it. It's got Catherine Isabel is Mary Mason. It is a very, very, very good movie. I happen to own it, John. I can't recommend it enough. If you're not mentally prepared, you might need some breaks. There is a lot of very realistic gore that takes a minute to like, okay, and then you move on. But yeah, I would put Mary Mason up there.
I will watch that as soon as you watch Ravenous and as soon as you watch Surviving the Game. I'm going to beat you. You got to watch Surviving the Game. It's so much fun. Surviving the Game is not a horror movie. It's a thriller. You got to watch it, man.
They're sitting right up there.
Ravenous caught me off guard. Anyway. Okay, so. Oh, this is so difficult. I'm going to go with Victor Crowley. I love the Hatchet series. I think it needs more love. I think horror fans love it. But I think he's got to go on the C team. He's got 4 movies. He's a great killer. He's a cool character. He's got to go on there. He does. And I think he'd look cool on a mountain. He's got to represent the C team. He's got to be on there. Like, yeah. I understand I've got a couple honorable mentions at the end where I'm like, these guys need to be on there, but there's just no spot. But yeah, he's got to go on there. If you haven't seen the Hatchet series, go into it ready to have fun, ready to just see everything you loved in the 80s, and just go ready for wild and wacky crazy. Like, don't go in it like, hey, I'm going to go watch a serious slasher. No, don't do that. Go into it. Like, what's the best movie you could say that gives you a similar vibe? Is there anything? Like,
man,
I can't think of anything that is. I mean, maybe Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 gives you the similar vibe, but not even it doesn't go that wonky.
No.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain. It's hard to explain how well just go watch it. Like it
takes everything
don't watch an
in
edited
slashers
version
and dials it to 11. It's just like whoop. Yeah.
And whatever you do, don't find a rated for TV version because it just tones down the comedy way too far. And the gore is a part of the comedy. Like, you won't understand it until you see it. Yeah. That solid. I know I had him in my B list, but I can see why somebody would push him back to C.
Yeah. All right, man. What's next?
Next, and this one, this one dawned on me actually earlier today, and it's funny because I would give up most seats just to make sure this person winds up on there, and that is Mick Taylor from the Wolf Creek films and series.
Yeah.
This man.
Actually, I was thinking of Cry Wolf. My bad. I haven't seen Wolf Creek. I own it. It's on my to-watch list.
The first Wolf Creek is rough and a great horror movie. It's a little bit dry and slow in some places, but it's one of those horror movies that at the end you don't feel good. However, the second movie is phenomenal. The series is phenomenal. Mick Taylor's characterization. Once you see it, I think you'll see why I have him on this list. But don't just stop at the first movie, because if you stop there, you're not going to understand why I have him up here. You at least have to watch the second movie, if not the series as well. But yeah,
sorry, Jabbar. It just wasn't ironed out very well. This is just slashers only. It's not monsters, Universal monsters, or ghosts. So we're kind of putting all those to the side. We said that it wouldn't make this list because it's more of a monster. Jeepers Creepers wouldn't make the list. The Ring gal, so we kind of put those off there. We'll do another one later, and we'll be a little bit more specific with like the monsters ones that we'll do, and then we'll do the movies and things like that. Like this will be kind of a recurring thing that every couple months maybe, just for fun.
That's why I put it DeGen as an honorable mention, because I couldn't quite fit him into the list because he's not human enough, if that makes sense. Even though it's weird that like Michael Myers, Freddy, and Jason get a seat because they are the most supernatural of anything. It just the more slasher-esque. Now, when we get to monsters, that list is going to be fun. I
think we'll probably skip the Universal monsters just because, well, maybe not skip, but we'll put Universal monsters away from other monsters just because that way they have a chance, right? Like it's like, you know what I'm saying? They have to be a team because they're the beginning, all right? Like so they have to always take the A spot, so it doesn't make it quite as interesting. But anyway, my number 2 on my C team would be Candyman. He's iconic. Tony Todd's amazing. Yep. That first movie's phenomenal. The newest movie is good. I think it misses a couple beats, but I really like it. Cinematography's great. Music's awesome. Acting's pretty good. I've seen the second one once, a long time ago. It was good enough when I was a kid. I haven't seen the third one. It's on the way. I'm going to watch it. I know it's terrible. I'm still going to watch it. I love Tony Todd. He's got to be on there. He's got to be on A, B, or C at least. So.
Yeah. It's funny because I feel like your B is turning into, or your C is turning into my B so far.
Because you're wrong. Anyway, keep going.
No, I'm really not. This next one. This one is my most personal input. I know almost nobody else would probably think of this, and nobody else would think that they deserve their face on Mount Rushmore of a horror tier. I don't care. That is Jacob Goodnight of the See No Evil and See No Evil 2. Now, See No Evil 2, Soska Sisters did that as well as American Mary. Phenomenal sequel. The first movie was good on its own right. Like, it was a fun horror movie. It was out of nowhere. It was a WWF produced movie, WWE, whatever it is this week. But it was a solid film, and Kane did amazing as a horror villain. I swear I want more of that. The second movie, holy crap, it crushed it. It just... I remember the day I saw it, I was like, I have to find a physical copy of this. Like, I have to. I hunted and hunted and hunted, and I couldn't find one locally. everything that would ship was like $25, and it just crushed me. So I bought it streaming, and then finally it popped up at Walmart for like $6, and I was like, mine, as fast as I could. So yeah, Jacob Goodnight from See No Evil gets on the C. Again, extremely personal. I know a lot of people wouldn't put him up there, but he fits the bill for me.
Right. Yeah. No, first one's good. Second one's great. Like, well, first one is entertaining. I don't know if I call it good because, I mean, to most people, I don't know if I call it good because I don't want to oversell it. First one is entertaining. Second one is good. I really like that second one. Daniel Harris is awesome in that movie. I always thought Daniel Harris was cute, but I don't think I thought Daniel Harris was good looking until I saw that movie. Like, she is gorgeous in that movie. I just want to say that she's... Anyway, okay, so I'm moving on to my third spot. And this is the big one I was gonna hold on to the last, but the last one I'm gonna say I'm wrong. My list is right up until the very last one. So this guy has to be on the mountain. We've already talked about him, and it is Jigsaw. Jigsaw has to be on the C team. He has to be. He has a huge franchise. He has a huge fan base. He is he's a slasher icon. He has to be on there. He's on the C team because he just doesn't beat out Chucky, Ghostface, Pinhead, or Hannibal Lecter. He just doesn't for me because I'm right. Anyway, so he's got to go on this. I think that's a good lineup right there. I mean, you could argue the Hatchet thing just because most people just don't know about the Hatchet franchise, but I mean, Candyman has got to be on here, and it would be sacrilegious not to put him on here.
I think it's amazing that your C tier is my B tier. Like that.
Well, the next one,
absolutely hilarious.
The next one, I'm completely wrong, and it kills me. And I will be subjective because I've never seen the franchise that should be on here. But what I've seen of the franchise I've seen, it has to go on there. So I'm wrong in the next one. My whole list is perfect up until this next one. So we'll get to yours, and then
Now, I want to say, my next one is either going to be the exact same one that John has, or he's going to be comfortable in his wrongness. The next one fully embodies slasher. The next one fully embodies supernatural. The next one is Art the Clown.
Yeah.
Art the Clown has been taking the horror fans by storm. David Howard Thornton, who took over in Terrifier, and right now Terrifier 2 is on the chopping block for editing, and it should be released soon. There's something to be said about a crowd-funded, low-budget horror film that winds up captivating an entire audience based on the grindhouse feel, the fact that you don't know what's going to happen with the villain. I mean, watching the movie, John's reaction in Terrifier when spoilers from 2015.
Nope. Hold on, wait, pump the brakes. Hold on. Pump the brakes. Spoiler. Plug your ears for about 30 seconds and go. I'll wave when the spoiler's gone. I'm sorry, the spoiler's hardcore, man. You need to go into that movie fresh if nobody's seen it. Go ahead, and then I'll wave my arms when the spoiler's done.
Okay, so I'm not going to spoil the coolest kill because that one's rough. But when Art the Clown pulls out a gun, John was so mad. Absolutely mad. Art the Clown used a gun before. Art the Clown is not... He's not tied down to a specific kill or weapon or anything like Michael with the butcher knife, Jason with the machete. He doesn't have a stereotypical thing, at least yet. He's all inventive kills, all like just whatever Damien Leone creates is what Art the Clown can do. You can waive the spoilers.
Yeah, he's got to be on there, and the fact that he's just going to kill you. It doesn't matter if he's got to use a doorknob. He's going to use a doorknob. Like it's just I do like that.
Yeah.
It just took me by surprise, but I do like that. Okay, but no spoilers, just in case, because I'm sorry. Like there are certain things in this in Terrifier that if you haven't seen it, you gotta go in just not knowing. I mean, it's brutal, and then it's super brutal. I mean, it's anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. So he completes my C tier. That is Art the Clown. And yeah, I there's no way I couldn't include him just because he is like the new phenomenon in horror, and it's absolutely astounding how much of a fan base he has gained. All Hallows Eve always, like, there was a film before called, I think it was called Terrifier, I don't know. Damien Leone made it a short. This one actor played Art the Clown. He reprised his role for Art the Clown in a film called All Hallows Eve, which is an anthology film that's not necessarily great, not terrible. I do enjoy it. Art the Clown's the best part. And then Damien Leone apparently noticed, hey, this character is the one that I want to keep going with, made Terrifier, and it just, yeah.
It blew up.
Go see Terrifier if you haven't seen it.
It blew up. It was nutty. Yeah, it's funny because Terrifier and Victor Crowley, they are exactly what the die-hard horror fans are asking for. Like, we'll go and we'll watch a remake. We might complain about it. We might complain about another sequel to, like, an old 80s horror slasher. What we're asking for is go out and make something new. Like, surprise us. Like, take us roads that we've never been on. Stop giving us Nancy's and Laurie Strode's and, like, let's just go there. Go for it. And these movies shake it up. They do something different with a lot of love. I mean, the budget on Terrifier is really low, but yeah, it's just phenomenal. So I want to say what should go on here, and then I'll say why I'm wrong and what's going to go on here. Mike, I can't see it. Gianelli was the first, and I could not watch
Gianelli.
The Gianelli. Okay, sorry. Your shirt's like the racetrack. Yeah, there we go. Yep, spelling. Yep. Okay, was the first. Dude. Yeah, Terrifier is next level. Yeah, the next guy is 10 times, and the guy in All Hallows Eve is great. He is great as Art the Clown, but the next guy is phenomenal.
David Howard Thornton, who has reprised his role for Terrifier 2, and he fully intends on continuing for as long as he can. He really enjoys that character. He goes to conventions in the makeup, like, just to do it, just to surprise fans. And that's not an easy makeup to get on. It's all prosthetics. It's all paint. I think the coolest thing is, before Sid Haig passed, David Howard Thornton and Sid Haig got in their clown makeup together to do a couple photo shoots.
Man.
And I wish I could have been there, which, real quick, Captain Spaulding kind of deserves it, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't.
Well, that's okay. So I want to say that this is where I'm wrong, and it frustrates me to no end, and I cannot do it. I try to be as objective as I can, but this is where I can't do it. Now, the two people I think that should be on there before my guy is the Tall Man. The Tall Man should take that spot. I've never seen the Phantasm movies. I don't know if they're ghosts or not. If it's a slasher, if we can make it part of this, it should be the Tall Man. I don't know, but he should be on there. Is that you've seen it? Would he be on there, or would we go against it? The more monster, more sci-fi-esque, like, is it? Yeah, okay. So maybe he wouldn't be on there then. Maybe he wouldn't be on there. I was just trying to be respectful of, like, what would people want to see him and have the most, like, grounded. That's it.
That's a really tough call. A really tough call. Ooh, that's a good one. That's a really good one.
Yeah, so if he counts, and I don't know, like I said, I've got all of them. It's just being a dad with two kids now. It's not like having one kid. When I had one kid, I was doing the channel more than ever. I was editing more than ever, doing fun stuff. I was actually working out. I was taking care of business. Now, my boss asked me something from like 2 weeks ago. I was like, I don't know. I wrote it down. That's why I didn't have to remember it. But anyway, he would be on there. And then My other guy that would be on there that would be correct and that should go on there is Captain Spaulding. He deserves to be on there. He's got 3 movies, technically 3 movies. He's iconic. You would look up there, and any most big, somewhat big horror fans would know him. So he deserves to be on there. But he's getting kicked out. He's getting kicked out on my list. He's just not. I'm making room for the new guy. I'm making room, and that's going to be Art the Clown. I freaking love Terrifier. I will put Art the Clown's performance over Freddy Krueger. I will put Art's performance over. I'll put it over all these guys. I'll put it all over these guys. I would probably give the edge on my B team to probably Hannibal Lecter. Probably Chucky would go over him. Pinhead, ooh, it's so close. But Art doesn't talk. He doesn't talk. And he's animated through the whole thing. You're never bored watching him. You're always on edge. I don't care if you've seen the movie 16 times. You're always watching every move he makes. He's just wacko. He's wackadoo. He is all over the place. I love Art the Clown. He had to be on my list. I don't care if I'm wrong. I don't care. Dude, he's on there.
Every time, my mental image of Art the Clown, I have 2. One is when he's riding the tricycle and falls down.
Yeah.
It's just the best thing. But also, when he's sitting at that booth in the pizzeria, man, it's just the face changes, the ticks, oh, God, it's rough. Like, if you were there, I would immediately not be able to, nope, I don't need to eat. I need to go home and lock my doors and windows and pray and whatever.
Right.
Nope, I have no need to be here.
Dude, I could argue his performance over Hannibal Lecter. I probably couldn't do it over Chucky because, I mean, just the doll's performance and Brad Dourif's voice delivery and acting is ridiculous. It's legendary, but Art is phenomenal.
I have to say,
he's going to keep. I hope he keeps getting better.
Yeah, I find it absolutely incredible that we both made room for Art the Clown, knowing that technically Captain Spaulding should obviously be on there, knowing that all these other characters should obviously be on there. But when you present something new instead of a sequel, spin-off, prequel, it's refreshing, it's nice. And the movie's not, it's not by the book. It doesn't play anything safe. It doesn't care what you expect, and that is refreshing for a horror movie. Like, it just is.
Yeah, the only thing I really didn't like about it was the very end. And I mean, I don't think it's a negative. I think that the next movie will feed into that. You know what I mean? I think they've said that you know, they're not going to beat you over the head with anything. They're going to let everything just play out, and it is, you know, it's going to be kind of natural. It's going to have a good flow to it. So they're not going to be like, they're going to beat you over the head with this, or they're not going to like put this in your face and make you realize stuff. They're going to let you bask in what's happening, and you're going to make up your own decisions, and you're going to make up your own, like, holy crap, like is like a certain.
I can't wait.
Oh,
yeah, I can't wait, and I'm sad that I wasn't a backer. Honestly, there's very few projects that I have went out and financially backed. I would take back most of them to go back Terrifier 2. Like that, it has no excuse being as amazing as it is. Real quick, another honorable mention for me, and I didn't know where to put her, and I think that's why she didn't get the list. And that was Esther from Orphan.
I love Esther. Yeah, that's rough, man. If you haven't seen Orphan, holy cow! No spoilers at all. You go into that and you enjoy the piss out of that. They're making a new one, so no spoilers at all. Just watch Orphan.
Oh God, yeah, no, it's a great movie. I haven't seen it in a few years, but every time I think about a list like this, I think about how she deserves to be on it because that movie was so impactful, impactful.
we were in college watching it on an old nasty projector, like big screen TV, like you had in like the early '90s, and you thought people were rich. We were watching that nasty TV in the college dorms, right? And there's probably, I don't know, 10, 15 of us watching it. Silence. All lights turned out. Everybody on edge. Everybody, like, the movie just gets you in and it overwhelms you. And like, at the end of the movie, it all comes together and you're just like, holy, but Jesus, I didn't expect this to be this good. Like, that movie is, I love horror. I don't own it. It's amazing. I got to own that movie. I got to own it. I hope this new movie's
I don't own it either.
Crazy.
Yeah, I don't own it either, and I need to snag a copy because I want to be prepared for when the new one comes out.
Deb hasn't seen Terrifier, and she said that, another icon in scary makeup. Dude, Deb, you might have to have a couple beverages, and you got to watch Terrifier. You got to watch Terrifier. I know I'm looking for mine, too, but it's under T's, which is my bottom left, and I can't reach it.
Please hold. There we go. Mine's on DVD. I cheaped out. I got it for $7, I believe, delivered. The Blu-ray was $18.99, and I was like, he splurged for the Blu-ray. I don't blame him.
Got it for $10 on the used Amazon.
Yeah, it's worth it. What I didn't realize, though, is because it's an independent film, it's put out by by Dread Central. It's weird. Like, I've never seen their logo on a film like this before, but yeah, Dread Central right here and right here. That's their film company.
Freaking turd.
Goober.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Google it.
Yeah, that's
it's not bad. I can't see it. I'm blind.
Yeah. I don't know. If we're wrong, I don't want to be right.
Right. Well,
that's fair. Well, the boy,
The Boy. I think The Boy, and now, once again, I haven't seen The Boy. I heard too many negative things about it, and there's just too many movies that I want to watch. I mean, I have probably 50 movies in this room that I haven't seen that I want to watch. And I've seen a lot of movies, but I haven't seen The Boy. I don't know if The Boy, like we were talking about earlier, that like Freddy was human, he died, he came back as a dream demon, but he lived, and he's a slasher icon. He has to be in there. He has to be in this list. He just does. You talk about Jason, Freddy's got to be there. We were also talking about how Pinhead was on my B. He was on Caleb's B. Right, B? Yeah. Right. He was once a man. He went to hell. He came back as a hell priest. Like, so we did kind of say that. I did want to put Creep. I really did want to put Creep. I love Creep, but I gotta say, as much respect as I throw to Creep, and he's got a mask in that movie, and the mask is freaky. I would put, this was going to be another audible mention, I would actually put The Collector just above Creep.
Yep.
Just above. The mask, the intensity of the movie, I think Creep overall is better, 1 and 2. Like, if you watch it, like, there's a little bit more depth to it, there's a little bit more intrigue, there's a little bit more, like, on the edge of your seat, like, what's going to happen. But I think Creep is more slasher / would deserve to be on a mountain.
Collector almost got a C spot for me. I just, man, after the news of the third movie, like, oh, hey, here's some shots and stills from what we're shooting. And like 2 days later, the crew's like, yeah, no, dude, we walked out and we haven't been back. And that was like 3 years ago. And we're all like, what? That was 3. You tell. No, because that franchise needs the third movie.
Smart on their part, though, to release that and kind of build some hype to see if they could get some funding and stuff like that. Kind of smart. I wonder how much stuff like that goes around on Facebook when they're like, well, what if this and this happened, or what if this person, Jabari Tomatoes. I love it.
It worked for Deadpool, so You know. Then
Yeah,
again, that had
exactly.
way more attention.
Exactly. Yeah. So, like I said, guys, there's our list. You guys let us know slasher horror icons that are mostly human esque. Let us know your guys' stuff. Once again, there's everybody else's opinion. There's Caleb's that's wrong and mine that's right. Just let us know what you guys think. I don't normally take that stance, but I put a lot of thought in my list, and by God, I can say I'm right. I can be wrong. It's my opinion to be wrong about Caleb being wrong. Yeah, that works.
Yeah. So, I was working on my list from the moment we discussed it happening, and I knew that my list was going to irritate him. I knew that my list was going to irritate him about Chucky and about Ghostface. They just don't make the cut for me.
Deb was talking about, totally forgot about the collector. Oh my God, I finally got him out of my mind. Yes, man, like that. The creepy thing, if I'm remembering this correctly, like when the gal's on the table and the boyfriend's on top of there and they're about to do some funky stuff, and he's sitting there like in the corner and his eyes are glowing like a cat, and like the way like it's so sensual and stuff like that. And they have no idea he's in the room, right? And then the hands go up and he's all like, and then like you see the collector lick his lips. I was like, where is this movie going? Like, and it doesn't go there. Spoiler, but I just was on my edge the whole. That's my favorite kind of stuff is when you're on edge and you're just like, I don't know what's gonna happen. And when you rewatch it, you're like, I don't know what's gonna happen. Just that nasty feeling vibe throughout that movie, and it's just like, whoa, whoa. The collector. I mean, this is what people are asking for now. Is Art the Clown perfect? No. Is Victor Crowley perfect? No, no. There's flaws everywhere. And is the collector perfect? No, but these are the horror icons that we are asking for. The turn your brain off, the rock and roll to have fun. I really wish that these guys could survive, but this is why Hollywood just pumps out sequels because they're guaranteed box office dollars, and it kind of sucks. I was kind of hoping that on the heels of everything that's going on right now, it would give some independent creators and directors and stuff like that, producers, some more time and some more ability to go on, but everybody just doubled down on like, well, we'll just do sequels. They'll go straight to net. They'll beat out those independent movies because they're the big draw to some of these. I mean, Shudder gets them, but I don't know. I was just hoping that this would breathe more life into that stuff. But I agree with the A list. I do put Jigsaw and Hannibal Lecter on the B, but not sure where. Yeah, I didn't really want to like tier them as like ABC because I don't think in the presidents there's really like this doesn't really go in order either. So I didn't go really that far with it. I could, but I didn't go that far with it. But I had a lot of fun with this. This is something I would definitely like to continue on, like with monsters, with ghosts. But anyway, we'll be back with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. We will see if it was a mistake and they should have went to theaters, or if they knew what they were doing and put it on Netflix. Thanks for watching us. My voice is gone. I'm a Dr. Pepper and a Monster in, and I'm freaking out. I don't know if I'm going to be able to sleep tonight, but thanks for watching. We're out of here. Peace.